Good Friday morning. Today's Friday, January 10th, 2025. And this is your Friday safety meeting number two of 2025. We are excited to be here. We are live here in Springfield, Missouri. My name's Dennis Davis. I work in the safety department here. With me, I've got a little kid and Dave White. Dave White.
I'm not the little kid?
Nope.
Oh, man.
Dave White and works in the safety department here at Prime. And Dave White is one of the many Prime associates that braved the weather this morning to get here. Now, Dave, you were the captain of the ship. If you would have called or texted me this morning and said, hey, Dennis, not going to be able to make it this morning. It's pretty bad out here. Neighborhood's still pretty bad. 44 is still pretty bad. What do you think I would have said?
You said, okay, go ahead and sign on from home and work from home for a while. So, yeah. And that's what we got. We're kind of down a few speakers today because some of them couldn't make it in. And that's what we tell them, just like our drivers, there's no difference. If it's too dangerous or you think it's you can't make it in, that's fine. Just let us know. And we'll still have the meeting. And that's what we're doing here this morning. We're not going to cancel this. That's for sure. So,
you know, we're here this morning. We got some other folks that are here. So we appreciate them being here. And we'll press forward as normal. You know, some folks will kind of do what schools do, maybe a late start. You know, let the sun come up, Mother Nature do its deal. The local jurisdictions around here plow the roads, treat the roads. A little bit of us earlier traffic goers kind of plow the way. The difference between, you know, your probably 5:15 drive in and somebody's 10:15 drive in is going to be a world of difference right here. So,
yeah, no doubt. So, but yeah, thank you for attending here. And really, probably today's not the place to be, is Springfield, Missouri or Southwest Missouri. But good thing about it, Dennis, they're saying that temperatures are supposed to be warming up compared to what it has been the last few days this week. And, you know, down here, we do depend upon Mother Nature. And, hey, it'll start melting. The roads will start melting. There'll be better driving conditions here probably by this afternoon, hopefully. And if you're looking for a load to get out of here, hopefully you can do that and get you rolling. So, but just watch it, because I know down south in Arkansas and all that, it's a lot worse. They got a lot more snow. And down there, they struggle more. The further south you go, the less they can handle the roads. And so it turns into a struggle. So if you're down there listening to us, and you're stopped at a truck stop, just hold out for a while, and maybe later on tonight or whatever before you can get out, and that's fine. But hey, they will address the roads, and down there, Dennis, it'll be warmer than up here. So hopefully does more melting for us.
You know, I got a close cousin that lives in Atlanta, and we text back and forth, and I gave her a heads up, hey, you guys got some weather coming, and I know you know, Southerners don't handle it well. She was like, well, here's the deal. I'm going to go to the store and load up with my 40 loaves of bread and 6 gallons of milk, even though I'm allergic to gluten and lactose intolerant. And then I'm going to go find me a good spot on the highway to get stranded. So, so that was her reply, you know. So you folks that are, you know, from the South, you know, Atlanta area, we'll be, you know, Prime will be in the Atlanta area at some point. So we'll have to start saying we, not them. But those Southern folks, you might get a quarter of an inch or something, and it's going to shut down the whole entire city. So, you know, just be careful, beware, and be, you know, cognizant of the dangers that are around you. You know, so again, we are live here in Springfield, Missouri, and of course, we are live across the social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And of course, we are live at our other terminals as well: Salt Lake City, Utah, and Princeton, Pennsylvania. At each of our locations, breakfast is free. So if you haven't ordered yet, jump on in, place your order. I see our new president there is in line placing his order. Make sure he pays. He's not on the free breakfast deal this morning. So, but let's give John Blanson and his team at all of our locations a round of applause just to say thank you. Let's go ahead and clap for them. You know, they feed all of us hungry trucking professionals. And then last Friday, Dave, they did a fantastic job of hosting us all at the annual Prime holiday party. So,
yeah, that shrimp and prime rib and all the other food they had out there, that was just awesome. And got to enjoy some music too. Had a good DJ there, and it was a good time. Attended by many people, so that's good. And we like to have a good time when those occasions come up, and because we all work pretty hard here, and especially our drivers. So hey, hopefully you got to see it and got to attend it. If not, there'll be another one next year, Dennis. So it'll be fun.
All right, let's see what we got with us. Let's go east. I think we got Richard Brock and Rick Ifford. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Morning.
There's too many Ricks and Richards and R's up there in Pittston, but we appreciate you being here with us this morning. What you got for us?
Hey, we appreciate being here, and you'll get it straight down one of these days, Dennis. Hey, no winter events this week for us, but we're tracking one for this weekend, and just some driving habits, some driving tips for y'all. The biggest one is speed. You got to slow down. Increase that following distance. You need a good 2, 5, 6 seconds of following distance when you're dealing with inclement weather. Distractions in the cab. You got to limit those distractions. And the last one is don't drive over your ability. If you start feeling uncomfortable, it's time to park it. You end up with blinders on and you're not looking far enough down the road and you're not looking around you. So if you start feeling uncomfortable again, just get it off the road. You are the captain of the ship. Thank you.
Morning, Dennis. I'll jump in there and I'll kind of tag in on what Rick's saying there. And I would say to all of our drivers, one thing to really account for in that is make sure that when you're trip planning when you might run into that storm. If you're going into an area that does have a storm, make sure you're trip planning that out and you're making sure you can get to a safe haven before you get stranded on the side of the highway. We don't want you pulling over on the side of the highway if possible. You want to try and find someplace safe so you're not a hazard out there on the road too. So make sure you're trip planning that out. I was talking to my folks back in Missouri and they were telling me, yeah, we're just getting hammered with snow back here. I said, well, how much you think you got? And they said, probably about 4 inches. I said, yeah, we call that a casual Tuesday in the Northeast. So, I will kind of add on to that and say, you mentioned as the sun comes up and it starts to melt away. I would also say as the sun starts to go down, be aware that, it is going to start to freeze over and you'll start seeing that black ice. So, just because it looks clear doesn't mean it is. Take caution, be safe, make sure you're not putting yourself in a situation where you end up off the road or anything like that. We had a great orientation class this week. This weekend, next week are slated to be really big classes. So we appreciate all you guys that are here today that came in and gave Prime a chance, and welcome to the family. That's all I got, Dennis.
Awesome. Thank you guys for jumping in and be a part of the meeting this morning. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't hesitate to jump on the microphone. All right, let's go out west. I think we got Jonathan Grice with us this morning. Good morning, Jonathan.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Tell us what you got going on.
Good. We got a really good crowd in here this morning. Kind of want to tag onto this safety message. Both Rick and Richard alluded to. It's 19 degrees out here in Salt Lake City. It doesn't look like there's any snow in the forecast today, but there is tomorrow. So tagging on again, just make sure you guys are super safe. Do some pre-tripping. Check your forecast before you guys hit the road. And just obviously use your best judgment. You are the captain of the ship, and we want you guys to make the best decision for yourself. I also wanted to point out, I wanted to give a shout out to our recruiting department, just like Richard said. Salt Lake City had a great group in orientation this week, and we've got an even bigger one coming next week. So we're super excited to see. The holidays are behind us, and we're getting some drivers hired in here. So really excited for that, and we love to see these new careers get started. Last thing I wanted to remind everybody about is we do have all of the same resources the other terminals do in regards to classes, PSC class, ACE2 class, pro maintenance, logs, all of that stuff is available here as well. So don't be afraid to, if you're out this way and you need a refresher or you just need to kind of go through the information again, we can definitely supply that for you. So appreciate all you guys do. Please be safe, and thanks again.
All right, Jonathan, we appreciate you being with us this morning. Appreciate you jumping in and letting us know what resources are available out there for the folks that are domiciled out west. Thank you. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't hesitate to jump on the microphone. All right, folks, right back here in Springfield, Missouri. Good morning. That's about how I felt when I got up this morning, but we still kind of got it done. We got it done. We're here. You know, some of our speakers already this morning mentioned a few things, and you know, one, pre-trips, all right, and the other, the captain of the ship. You know, I want to talk a little bit about pre-trips, and you know, we get, even though we kind of shuffle all of the feedback for the co-pilot over to our friends in IT, because me and Dave are no tech experts, but some of the conversation that we've gotten is a lot of the complaints that we've got about co-pilot. But we'll listen to them, but they've turned out not to be quite as legit as originally thought. You know, a lot of user error is going on. You know, we got some deals where folks say, you know, co-pilot took me down the road that, well, you know, with the technology, we're able to go back in and see what it sent you and see where you went, and it's not exactly what it is. So for those folks that do have some challenges with co-pilot, you know, get in touch with safety, get in touch with our friends at the help desk, and we can kind of revisit what you did and kind of help you navigate whatever those challenges are. You know, we don't anticipate any piece of technology being perfect because these are man-made, but if there is a problem, we want to know about it so we can fix it. So, you know, just kind of bring that up. And the other part about that is make sure we're not solely relying on technology, you know, and I know some folks that are seasoned enough in the industry that remember not having a cell phone, not having a GPS. These things didn't exist when they were driving. Not that they just didn't have it available. They didn't exist when, you know, Dave White, for example, when Dave started driving in the industry, there's no such thing as a GPS. Nobody had ever invented it yet. So you had to rely on your try and true map and communication with your dispatcher or your fleet manager at that time to get it done, right?
And I'm going to go back, you know, Steve Tassin was a fleet manager here for over 30 years here at Prime. He's retired from here, but Steve had a comment that he always used with his drivers, and he used it at our safety meetings too. You know, this GPS, all this technology, it's a tool. It's not the rule. And you need to remember that at the end of the day. So is it always going to be right? Probably not. And so, you know, you look at that, and when you get these routes, it's good to have a motor carrier atlas with you. And that's kind of old school. That's my old school. Rand McNally motor carrier atlas. If you don't know what that is, go down here to the company store. They have them down here. 15, 20 bucks. Just get the basic, because they update them every year. They get in, the new version comes out, but it tells you, it shows you what routes you can be on. And so match that up with your GPS, what it's telling you to get to a customer. Hey, is this the best way to go? As it's snowing in, you know, Arkansas, am I better off taking the interstate up 55 all the way up to 60, then over, and stay away from these little 2-lane roads? Or am I better? Are we okay taking, you know, 63 over? And so it's all that, you know what I mean? So you really helps you as a driver. You know where you're going. You're more secure. You're more confident in your driving. And it, not only that, it just plans your route for you. And you're just making sure you're right. And, you know, same thing with scales now. You know where the scales are in Motor Carrier Atlas. It shows you the stationary ones. So what scale do I have coming up out of St. Louis? I got one in St. Clair. I have one in Joplin, which were, you know, or going the other direction to Kansas City, you know. And so it'll tell you where the scales are on 70. It'll show you that. And that's important to know. So, you know, all that just helps you perform better and gives you more confidence, too, as a driver.
Hey, real quick, by show of hands, how many people are trainers in here? TNT trainers or PSD instructors? Raise your hand. All right, keep your hand up of those trainers that really emphasize to those trainees the use of an atlas. You know, where you kind of say, hey, great job, guys. You know, that GPS is a tool, not the rule. You know, so kind of remember that. Put that in your bag of tricks. Is really challenge that trainee to familiarize with the atlas. And you don't have to be, you know, Magellan by any means, but it's important that if you're dispatching a load from Springfield, Missouri to Atlanta, Georgia, and you find yourself on something that says west and you're in Oklahoma, turns out you're going the wrong way. Okay. And I say that jokingly, but you know, it's important that you understand, you know, what the numeric system for the interstates mean. It's important that you understand, even taking a step back, where the states are. You know, you may miss a northeastern state. You may get Vermont, New Hampshire mixed up. I don't care about that. May not be able to point out exactly where Connecticut is. It's a little neighborhood, basically, and I'm okay with that. But you should be able to pick out, you know, Atlanta, Georgia, and Springfield, Missouri out on the map. So I just want to reemphasize that. You know, when I was a fleet manager, I would push and push and push for that, because that was kind of around the time where folks were really starting to rely on electronics and GPS.
And not only that, look at your bills of lading. That goes back to basic trucking 101. Make sure your load matches up with the bills, where you're going. And sometimes customers do make mistakes. You'll get the wrong paperwork. Heck, you may get the wrong load. You think you're going down there and this load in your trailer is going somewhere else. So look at the bills before you leave your shipper, and make sure everything matches up and you're comfortable with it. You know, I love this technology we got. It does make it a little bit easier, but it can be wrong at times. And so all it takes is once. You go the wrong direction, all of a sudden you've got money spent on fuel, time, and blown out the window. So, you know, don't be a victim. Make sure you follow up and you do the small things right, and make you better success rate here, Prime, and make you a happier driver too, and make more money.
You know, we got a fleet manager, Jed Kramer, coming up later on in the meeting, so we won't take away too much of some of the things he may be wanting to talk about. But, you know, that really goes into the emphasis on making sure you do that live loaded call. I can't emphasize enough that at 2 a.m. after you're 3/4 of the way through your shift, you're tired, Shelbyville, Indiana, and Shelbyville, Tennessee look exactly alike on a bill of lading, and they are not next to each other. So it's important that you go through that process of checks and balances that we provide for you. It's just a resource to make sure that we get it right. So
there you go. Let's get to some safety numbers, man. I got some good information, buddy.
all right, what you got?
All right, this past week we had 121 DOT inspections. 99 of those were clean, so an 82% clean rate. So great job. Give yourself a round of applause. That's awesome. Great way to start out the year. And speaking of the year, I want to go over what we did last year. We had 2024, we had a total of 7,520 inspections, 5,250 clean ones, so a 70% clean rate. So great job to you all, man. The year before, we were only at 66%, so great job. And I was hoping we hit that 70, Dennis, and we just barely did, man. We crossed that line, so it was awesome.
Reminds me of college.
There you go, buddy. Sometimes a C is better than a D, you know.
70%, baby.
I hear you. So, but yeah, 70% seems to keep the mom and dad off your shoulders compared to the 66%. So
Keeps the financial aid coming in.
there you go. So we also paid out this past year $464,700 on clean inspections. That comes out of Robert's pocket. That's what he pays you for those clean inspections. So $464,000. That's a lot of money, but every clean inspection counts here, and that's why we reward you. And they're hard to get. They're not easy, but if you do your job and do everything down to the T, like we're talking about up here this morning, you know, the nuts and bolts of it all, you can get those clean inspections. And we got a number of operators, they just live off that $100 clean inspection every week, and they look for it. They're hoping that our DOT guy will inspect them because they know they're ready to go. And that's what hopefully the rest of you out there feel comfortable too, and you're ready to go when you get that inspection.
I had a driver in my fleet years ago that used to say, hey, it's like going to the ATM machine. Every time I pull in there, I'm leaving with $100.
There you go. $100, baby. That's what you want. So
what else you got?
That's it for now, buddy. On the safety front, you want to?
We have some videos.
You want to watch some videos? Or you want to get down up here first?
Let's do videos.
Okay. So we've downloaded a few videos for you all to watch since we've went to camera. So let's pull up the first one here. Let me get my notes out. Watch my glasses, Colby. Try to think what this one is, Dennis. This one is.
It'll be a surprise for us all. A couple things I want to note. You know, it's not our goal to show these to embarrass anybody or put anyone on the spot. You know, unless you tell us or you'll comment on Mitch's social media. Hey, that was my accident. Nobody's gonna know it was you. There'll be no inward-facing videos on any of these. But these are outward-facing videos, and typically they're going to be winter weather situations. And, you know, really the first point of coaching in this is, you know, a little bit what we talked about earlier. Consider not driving. You know, consider giving it just a few more hours, maybe even another 10-hour break. But of course, we want you to make sure that you communicate. But I'll let Brian go ahead and run that one.
So yeah, so watch this one here real quick, and I'll give you a little update after we have the crash. You can see here it's a little 2-lane road. Be honest with you, we shouldn't have been on it. The driver was on his way to Colorado. I-70 was closed. So he did a little rerouting, and this is the road that he said he was routed down. Once again, didn't look at his motor carry outlets, didn't even have one. And this is what happens. And there we go. And the trailer went right there in that culvert there. You saw that cement little bridge, and yeah, he just lost it. At the time, he was loaded. 50 miles an hour shows where he's going. 50 mile an hour on that road, too fast. You know, we got snow covered, even though the sun's out. You know, that's one of those situations. Speed makes a difference, Dennis.
You know, and if the interstate is closed, that should be a telltale sign that we don't need to be trying to reroute for smaller roads, little 2-lane deals to try to get around. I don't remember what he was hauling. I think it may have been carpet.
It was, yeah, we won't name the shipper, but yeah, it was.
You know, but I promise you that when they delivered that carpet, it was going to sit in the warehouse for a few days until they figured out what they were going to do with it. So there were no hearts, there were no lungs, there were no ammunition going to anybody's front line. There's nothing that he would have been carrying that we would have needed to risk his life to, because there wasn't anybody else out there. So it wasn't risking anybody else's to risk his life to get that done. Let's go on to the next one.
All right, next one, Brianne. This is on I-80 out in Ohio. Driver was empty at the time, 44, 45 miles an hour. Driver been with us over 10 years, so he's got experience. He's been out on these roads before.
I want you to notice something right here. What do you see? If he would have made it 10 more minutes, if he would have literally waited 10 more minutes, he had a caravan of snowplows coming up right behind him. I guarantee the road would have been completely different 10 minutes later had he waited.
And that's right there, you know, you're empty, you're running 45 or so, too fast. You can see that road right there underneath the snow. Nice, good glare to it, too. So that's all ice. And that's all it took, unfortunately. So over 10 years of driving, you know, and the first comment was, I was probably going a little too fast. And you were. So, yep. Let's go to the next one, Brian. This is in I-94 out in Michigan. He's bobtailing. Snow-covered roads again. This one's a little bit harder to see, a little darker. Sorry about that. As you can see, we're in the right lane. We're passing another semi that's in the left lane. And up in front of us is another semi. You can see his lights. And once again, we're bobtailing. So remember, no trailer on. Yeah, there you go. Once again, he was running 53, 54 miles an hour. So. And then there we go. Now, the good thing about this, he wasn't hurt. And so far, none of our drivers that we've shown you videos on, and you won't see any that were hurt on any of these accidents. So thank goodness. Another good thing was he didn't involve the truck next to him, because if he did, it could have been very much a different scenario. So, but once again, you know, he's bobtailing, so he should not be running that fast. Speed makes a big difference out there. Your truck is made to haul 80,000 pounds in a trailer. They're not made to bobtail, but you do sometimes have to bobtail to go get a trailer. That's part of trucking, you know. So remember that when you're bobtailing, slow way down. Do not, you know, conditions like this. He should have probably been running 20, 25 miles an hour. Then you got to ask yourself, is it worth being out there on the interstate? You know what I mean? Am I a hazard out there running that slow? Probably should have parked it, called his fleet manager, say, hey man, it's just too icy out. We're going to wait. And that would have been fine. So
What's the next one?
all right, last one was in Oklahoma, Highway 412. Some of you, probably many of you know what this is. Driver been with us a little over 2 years. 55 miles an hour. Did have the cruise on, and that is part of the issue. And basically another jackknife again. Just got the cruise being on. Roads looked okay, but they weren't for cruise control. So, that being said, they were empty too. The driver had an empty trailer on, so not real good situation. But don't run with your cruise on. Well, even when the roads are like that, it looked okay maybe, but don't take that chance. Run off the foot pedal. At cruise control, what's going to happen is you start to go into a skid. That skidding wheel is going to want to lead. So that drive tire is going to want to get out in front of you, and that's what kicks you into a jackknife. Many times you get about a 15% angle on your truck and trailer. You can't control. You can't bring it back. It's gone. So, usually you feel that right in the old keister on your butt. You'll feel that. And sometimes you feel that, you feel any of these jackknives. You can tell when those drive tires start sliding a little bit. And when you think they're sliding, they are sliding more than likely. So, feel that in your rear end, being connected with your truck. You know what's going on. And stay off the cruise. Obviously, stay off the Jake brakes too. And there's winter conditions like this. Use your foot, all foot controls on that. Accelerator, brakes, and hopefully you stay out of a situation like that. But speed makes a big difference too, Dennis.
We emphasize that these folks weren't folks that came out of orientation last week. 10 years, 2 years, 7 years. A lot of them, this was their first accident. Don't find yourself being too confident, too cocky, too worried about making that next dollar. It's not worth it. I promise you. I promise you 100%.
Anybody have any questions or comments you want to give?
We got a question
over here. I don't know. I don't think so. I think we're good. So, all right.
Let's keep it moving. What do we got next?
Keep going. So we got some speakers ready to go. Thank you for coming in this morning. So in our log department, we have Donna. So love to have her up here. Come on up, Donna. Give us an update. What's going on in logs this week?
Morning, everybody. Sorry, Dennis. Okay, so we do actually want to touch base on a few items. So based upon what we get most of our calls about, some of the things that we're seeing is how to switch the driver's seat, how to switch the active driver, and also how to log out of the tablet. Okay, it is a little bit different. So just to start off, when you log into your tablet, you of course put in your username, which is going to be your driver code. Then you'll probably be directed to log into your Prime app, which is going to be your Prime app email address and your password. And then it's going to direct you back to the GeoTab app and ask you to select your vehicle. I always tell everybody is do not select from the list, type it in. So only one number shows so you can verify it is the correct truck number, and then you'll save and continue. Now, the difference between the Qualcomm and the GeoTab is how you are connected to the truck. So with the Qualcomm, when you simply log out off duty, you disconnect from the vehicle, okay? However, with the GeoTab, once you select the vehicle number, that is what is attaching that tablet to the Go9 device in your truck and knows to record the data from that vehicle. So to log out of the vehicle, you have to disassociate from the truck. So on your dashboard page, you should see your vehicle number, and all you're going to do is select the vehicle number. It's going to bring you to the secondary screen. You'll select the X next to your truck number, and then you'll hit no vehicle at the bottom of the screen. It's going to synchronize and spin, and once you go back to the dashboard page, you should now see no vehicle. That means you have been disassociated from the truck, and now you're safe to go back up to the top, click on your name, and log out off duty. Okay. Again, too, with that being said, if you do look at your dashboard page and you do see that it says no vehicle, that means you have been disassociated from your truck. You'll simply select no vehicle. It will have you search and select your truck number again, and then you'll be associated back with your truck. Okay. We have seen some issues where drivers call up and have stated, I just moved, but I'm not picking up the drive line. One of your first things is to do is make sure you are associated with your vehicle. That's most times what the issue is. But of course, if you have any issues or concerns or not sure, contact us in the log department for assistance as soon as possible. Okay. Another thing with the logging in and out is making sure that if you have a secondary person and you must log them off the truck. So specifically, I'm talking about our instructor trainers. You have to be sure that logging out off duty is not logging them out of your truck. So make sure that their name is showing at the top. You do the select the vehicle number, disassociate them from the truck. It will not disassociate you, and then just simply log out off duty. Okay. With that, too, logging in and out, the name at the top does not signify who the active driver is. Okay. So please make sure you select the name at the top. It will drop down the menu, and whoever has a steering wheel next to their name, that signifies you as the active driver for the truck. Okay. If you have to switch the active driver, again, simply click the name at the top, click at the bottom, the blue bar that says driver seat. And once you select that, it will show both drivers' names. Just highlight the little dot next to the driver, and then you'll see from the drop down, it will switch, and the next person will have the steering wheel next to their name. Another way to signify if you are not the active driver, if you go to change your status and you see you do not have yard move as an option, personal conveyance as an option, or the drive option, that will signify that you do not have the steering wheel next to your name and you're not listed as the active driver. Okay, so just a few things to look at. Again, if you have any questions, just make sure you contact us in the log department. There's plenty of information and videos. If you go to the Prime app and go to Geotab info, those videos can be found there. If you go to your tablet device and go to ELD info, scroll to the bottom for the how-to videos. But of course, we also have log classes, like we said earlier, at each one of our terminals, Monday through Friday here in Springfield. If you're not doing anything else today because of the snow, 1330 in the Plaza building in the multi-purpose room. All right? Anybody have any questions? Okay.
I logged out of my Geotab the other day when I come in the yard, so it'll be moved around for maintenance. Tried to log back into the system. It's not letting, I wrote my password down because I know I'll forget
Okay.
it. I can't get logged back in. What is there?
Is it just the Prime app that you're having trouble logging into when it directs you,
I'm
or?
logged into the Prime app and I'm logged into the Driver One app. It stays active. It's just the Geotab log, the log app.
Okay, if you would like to, if you want to take your tablet, because it is mobile,
right.
You can bring it over to us in the log department too, and we can help take a look at it and walk you through, and help you get logged in.
I've just been trying to log back into the system and it's not letting me. And I've tried and I know I'm using the right password.
When you click on the Geotab app and it asks for your username, are you just typing in just your driver code and hitting next?
It usually prompts up with my email.
And then it
address.
directs you to the Prime app for your Prime app email address and password?
Usually after I've tried a couple times and it got. And
I would say back out of everything, log out of it, and then start from the beginning. If you want, you can call us, or you can also walk your tablet to the department. You can come to see one of us in person so we could take a look, or you can contact IT if it's the
I'll get with
issue of the
somebody
password.
later on about it because I go into the Geotab, it automatically prompts with the email address,
Yeah,
which is the one
the Prime
I
app.
use, but it won't take the password.
Yeah. So
And I
it's,
want to go to change the password, then it comes up with the other screen that you were talking
yeah, the
about.
first thing you have to do before you go to the Prime app is you got to click on the Geotab app, type in the username, which is just your driver code, hit next, and then it will direct you to log into the Prime app. So.
Well, they'll have to show me because usually when I come in on a geotab, been trying to log in, it automatically fills in with my email address. And I've tried with my
Yeah.
user ID.
Well,
Yeah, usually if it
Mr. Ford,
backtracks.
Mr. Ford, no problem.
Right.
I tell you what, if you just walk that tablet on over, I promise you we can get you taken care of. Any other questions? Right here. Let's get him on the microphone so everybody can hear.
Is there any plans to actually have a geotab class with the tablet in hand where we could sit down and go step by step through the process of anything?
The comprehensive logs class, what I always tell everybody, and I know the other associates do as well, is once you have your tablet, if you're going to come to the log class, bring the tablet with you, because the first portion of the class coincides with logging in, how to change your status. Then we go into hours of service, clocks and statuses, and we go back to the geotab aspect. So we do a walkthrough of the tablet. So if you come to class, bring the tablet with you.
Yes, we will. Every single day, Monday through Friday, 1300, right?
Yep, 13 to
1330, sorry.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, fantastic. Thank you, Donna.
Thank you. Have a good day, guys. Be safe, be warm.
Thank you, Donna. Good info.
It's good info.
Now we got the spice it up, get a little bit of energy going coming up next. You ready for this one?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's get Haley and Chelsea up here from Leasing. And hopefully they're ready to go, man. Look, I think they are. Thank you for coming up and thank you for showing up this morning.
Oh my gosh,
you.
wouldn't
Good morning.
miss it. Good morning. Want my best red for you? Hello, good morning. Happy snowy Friday. My name's Haley. This is Chelsea. We are from the leasing department. We're just here to chat really quickly with you all. I wanted to talk about end of leases, and Chelsea's going to talk about ordered trucks. You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. Okay, so we have our new trucks orders open for the next year model. So for Freightliner, we are placing orders for May and June delivery timeframe. It gives you a time slot of a few weeks actually to pick from. So May and June for Freightliner, and then Peterbilt actually just closed. We've filled all the slots for May, so we are now placing orders for June delivery for Peterbilt. I always like to mention whenever you complete a lease, or if you turn your truck in and you're going to take some time off, when you place a truck order, make sure and when you're placing that delivery time frame to take into account your time off. We can only hold a truck on the yard for so long. Also, be sure to keep in mind your 59 days. Make sure and have that plan so that your truck is here and you are back and you have that contract signed before your 59 days is up, because you guys work really hard for your leasing benefits and we want you to keep them. So just keep that in mind.
Wonderful. So with end of leases, just wanted to go over that really quickly. If you finish the term of the lease that you signed, you will earn a lease completion incentive. That is your total authorized dispatch miles times 0.0525. Right now, it takes about 7 to 10 business days to get that end of lease incentive over to you. If you are on the truck the entire term, so from start to finish, you are the only one that's been on the tractor, you have earned an end of lease dinner. We just like to celebrate you, go to dinner, get to know you better, take you, your dispatcher, someone from operations, someone from leasing, excuse me, over to Fire and Ice. So keep that in mind. We have a wonderful dinner, some steak and Diet Coke or cocktails, whatever you're in the mood for. Then you've also earned a room at the Oasis or 3 nights at Campus Inn. So that is a wonderful incentive, as well as getting the money that you've earned is to kind of have that celebration. If you haven't been on the truck the entire time, you will still earn your incentive with that. So just keep in mind, guys, last thing is your retention and rewards. So everything you earn through Success Leasing goes off that original longevity date, the original date you signed your first contract with us. So make sure you never have a break in service more than 59 days. If so, unfortunately, we can never backdate that. You have to have a contract signed, be dispatched within that 59 days. So all of your forgiven lease payments, your down payment on an ordered truck, there's so many benefits that go with that. You earn $1,000 from Prime every year, $500 from Success. So keep in mind, that's a wonderful benefit. You never want to go over 59 days. Do you guys have any questions? Nothing?
Why is retention and rewards not, say, prorated for people who were already in their 60s when it came about? 10 years is a long time.
I understand that completely. With that, I would talk to Christina Cooley, how do you say it? Cooley, over in driver's lineup area. She sits in the basement. She actually handles the entire retention awards program. All of it does go off of leasing when you sign that benefit, but it is an outside program. So she monitors and tracks that. So just to make sure we give you the correct information, I would talk to Christina.
When y'all started buying dinners?
Say that again?
When did you start taking people to dinner? Because if that's the case, you miss me. You owe me a meal.
Okay, well, reach out to me. My name's Haley. I'll be happy to make it right. Okay, have a great day and stay safe and warm.
Yes, happy Friday.
Bye.
Great job, Haley. Great job, Chelsea. That lady said, hey, you owe me a meal. You know, I ain't mad at her. And, you know, safety likes steak and Diet Coke.
Yeah,
too.
safety can join you for these meals too.
Just in
You know,
case.
man? Just
No.
saying.
Yeah, it's not about us. It's definitely all about, you know, the driver and making sure that, you know, even if we missed one, you know, we'll obviously go back and make sure we make it right. So,
Yep. Speaking of miss one, I missed one earlier. So our next speaker we have Colby from Driver Health and Fitness. He was very nice. I missed him. He didn't even say anything until I walked over. So it's nice.
I'll get my time. Thank you.
you can talk a little bit about one of my favorite things.
Yeah, something we do very well or should, right?
I do extremely well.
Do you? Yeah. You do it enough?
Probably too much.
That's okay. So good morning, everybody. So I'm Colby in Driver Health and Fitness. And again, every week we always try to bring you a health tip of some kind. We've done some in the past about the same topic, sleep. Okay. We do have a podcast, actually episode on the importance of sleep and things like that. And I don't I kind of put some things together about maybe warning signs. We talk about normal things. I'm sure we could raise our hand. Everybody could tell you one thing, oh, I know when I'm tired, this happens. Right. But a couple things, and I don't know if we can pull it up. I sent it to you guys late, so I apologize. Hey, look at that. So a couple things you may think about, just signs of maybe we need more sleep. Typical things like a decrease in production. I do find the next two really funny, and you don't really maybe think about it that often, but Rachel, if she was here, would talk about is sugar cravings, poor food choices. A lot of times you may see like your energy level drop and maybe we eat more sugary beverages, sugary drinks, things like that because we are tired. A couple of things, exceptionally moody. Dennis, is that what you're talking about? You do a lot of? Drowsy during the day. And then maybe also, looking visibly tired. We all know that, like, man, I look tired. Or somebody says, hey, you feeling okay today? Those kinds of things. But I would say these are more like warning signs, right? Things we'd be aware of. We always talk about, a lot of the health tips we talk about is about respecting yourself. These things are just a big part of that, okay? And then the other side I want to talk about is the other part. I think Brand's got it. There goes my paper. Thank you. Are the benefits, okay? We know there are, and as Dennis says, he's really good at it, and this is why he's really good at it. A lot of things. Enhancing brain function, things like that. Also could be improving problem-solving skills or being creative. That applies a lot of times also in our driving and things like that, okay? Better weight management, improving your awareness and reaction time. The last one's really important as just our daily things. Some things also could be called like silent killers. Things like this could be your lower risk factors of diabetes and health risks. So sleep's very important. It's what we do more than anything else in our life, okay? So we do, as I said, our podcast. We do have a podcast on talking about the importance of it. Also, the importance of ways to get it, right? We have to talk about CPAP and sleep apnea. But some other things is other ways to put yourself to sleep. We have a 3-2-1 method. We actually talked about one time on here about time and distance from when you go to bed, screen time and lights and things like that. So we're always here to help you guys. I think this one's really important, especially this time of year, because obviously we have more days of dark or hours of darkness in a day. So if you guys ever have any questions, you need anything from us, we're always here to help you. But again, take this into consideration and let us know how we can help you. Any questions for me? Yeah. Yes. You only need one.
Yeah. Now, does it make a difference if you're a night or a day driver?
Does it make a difference? I would say, good question. And no, a lot of it's about habits, right? So meaning rhythm, trying to get into a rhythm. I know we talk about that is how do you get into a rhythm as a driver, in the day? And I think that's where I think for you, it's all about your environment. And I mean that by what the environment in the space you sleep in, right? So it could be the temperature, could also be the day, the light coming in, creating your own darkness kind of thing. But I would say a lot of times it's trying to find your own rhythm and your own rhythm in your sleep, because the 7 to 8 to 9 hours would be awesome. But sometimes maybe you have to find ways where you get them, right? Micro sleeps actually can be damaging in some aspects, meaning like 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. More like band-aiding it, you know. But we will actually, in a couple of weeks, we will bring on actually, telling you guys this now, a sleep doctor. He's going to come in and talk just about, not obviously, you know, sleep apnea, CPAP, but in general, like why sleep's so important. And he's way smarter than me. So that's what would be fun. So yeah, that's a good time to ask that question too. I love it. Anything else? There's another one back here. Here, let's try this.
Good morning. I don't know if you were joking about the podcast. I listened to a lot of podcasts when I'm on the road. Where can I watch that podcast is my first question. And my second question is, you know, being over the road, schedule is never the same. Sometimes you're driving in the daytime, sometimes you're driving at night. How do you feel about taking melatonin for sleep is my second question.
So first question, great question. Yeah, so our podcast called Healthier Highway. You can find it on all the places you can download and listen to podcasts. So Apple, all different ones, Spotify. So Healthier Highway. And then the second one, I don't recommend. I'm not into recommending. So I'd talk to your doctor, or if you know somebody, we have a physician. It's not something I wouldn't feel strong recommending anything. But I will tell you this: what I'm a huge fan of is creating habits. And I say that meaning is the same question you just asked me is, when you get into the situation is when you know you're going to sleep regardless of the time of day, have a habit in which you do before you go to sleep. So if it's a breathing, if it's a stretching, if it's a when I turn my lights, if I read a book, you know what I mean? Doing those things so your body knows, oh, I know what's next, right? Those kinds of things is what will really help you. Not necessarily just it's 10 o'clock, I go to bed kind of thing. Does that make sense? So yeah, those habits. Great questions. Anything else? All right.
Thanks, Kobe.
You bet. Thank you.
All right, let's give a round of applause. You know, Julie, sleep is very important. When I first started working here, I worked overnight, and I was real dumb because I would work all night for 14 hours and then go to school all day. It was a bad decision if anybody's considering doing that, but in the long term, it started to create poor sleeping habits for me that lasted for like a decade. So it took some time for me to really train myself. I couldn't sleep for more than 3 hours at a time, you know, and over time, if your internal organs in your body is not getting sleep, your overall health will start to deteriorate, which mine did. So, but I'm all good now. I sleep really well now.
And that's how we met. Dennis calling me in the middle of the night saying, Dave, we got an accident.
I did, yeah. Yep.
I think you talked to my wife first usually.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the way it goes.
When we talk about before the days of cell phones. All right, who do we got next?
So coming up next, we have from our maintenance department, we have Dennis Cantrell from our Freightliner. He's our Freightliner representative. So great to have him here this morning. So good morning, Dennis.
Thank you, everybody. So like Dave said, I'm Dennis Cantrell. I'm your on-site Freightliner rep, and I actually work here on-site at Prime over by Success Leasing if you ever need to find me. According to Doug Tam, who didn't show up today, I'm also the only person who's ever came up to this safety meeting wearing a beanie. So by popular demand, the Beanie Man is back. So I'm here talking about a couple of things regarding winter weather and things you can do to prevent breakdowns and help prevent costly repairs. So first thing I'm going to talk about is differential failures. I do have a couple slides here just to kind of show what it is, where they're located on your truck for the people who may not know. So I got a cutaway up there of the two rear axles on your truck, and the differential is in that center part of the axle. That's the bulbous part. Basically what it is, just a gearbox that takes the power that comes out of your transmission and diverts it out to the wheels so your truck can go forward and backwards. It's really important. Your truck cannot go anywhere without it. And my next slide here, they're only located on those back two axles, so front drive, rear drive, or some people call them front rear or rear rear. So the main thing that we end up seeing a lot in wintertime is what's called a spin out event, and it can lead to something called a shock load. So I've got a little video here on the next part. This is a very controlled example of a spin out, but if you see there, that rear tire is just spinning because it has no traction. So that back tire that we can't really see, it's on the ground, has traction, but just due to how these gearboxes work, the tire that has no traction ends up spinning out and the truck doesn't go anywhere. So a lot of times what happens is people get in these events and they just decide they're going to mash down on the accelerator to try to get that forward momentum. And sometimes they get it. And then what happens is that tire that's spinning is going so fast whenever these things are locked up like that. If I remember correctly, they spin like 4 times as fast as they normally would. So that tire that's spinning out eventually comes in contact with dry pavement and just has an abrupt stop. And it causes a lot of trucks. So my next picture here is just a couple pictures of some failures. So that one on the be your left or your right, sorry. That's actually the drive shaft that goes between the front axle and the rear axle. That thing's about 2.5 inches thick, and that's an example. It just broke it clean in half, clean shear. I remember when I first started over here and I'd seen that, I almost thought that was a manufacturing issue because it looks like someone took a metal cutting laser and just cut it right in half. But that is what can happen whenever these things when you have a shock load event. And then the other part there, the set of gears, that's what happens whenever you spin out too long. What can happen there is you end up spinning out so long that those gears inside get hot and they weld or they break off those cross pins. So if you see the gears, they're about at like 10, 2, 4, and 8 o'clock positions. Those are supposed to be at 12, 3, 6, and 9. So yeah, whenever you get in a situation like this, it can be very costly. And whenever you go to the shop for this, it's usually deemed not warranty. It's usually considered an abuse situation, and it can be upwards of $10,000 for a repair. So how we get out of this is on your truck, there is a switch. And I believe on all the manufacturers, they're all labeled the same. It's called an interaxle lock. I don't have a picture of it. We do have a video up on Prime's YouTube channel that talks about how to engage it. So if you find yourself in a spin out event, what you need to do is just put your foot on the brakes, make sure your wheels come to a complete stop. You don't want to engage it whenever the wheels are spinning because that's how you break that shaft. So make sure your wheels come to a complete stop, engage the switch. And basically what it does is, I kind of got ahead of myself here. So between your rear axles, only the rear axle has power to it, right? So if you remember that video that we had up there, you only saw the rear tire spinning. That's because your front axle doesn't have power all the time. The analogy I like to use is it's like that friend that you help move, but they don't really move anything. So what the interaxle lock does is it locks a gear in on that front differential to give it power. So you make sure your wheels are stopped, you engage the interaxle lock, and you ease out of wherever you need to, and then come to a complete stop and disengage it. Whenever you engage it, there'll be a light, at least on the Freightliners, there's a light on the switch, and there's also an audible buzzer that comes on whenever it's on. So you want to get out of it and you want to turn it off because you don't want to be driving down the highway at it. They're only rated about 25 miles an hour, so they're not rated for highway speed. That can also cause damage and also be a costly repair. So that pretty well covers that. Anybody have any questions on that? On differentials, how to engage differential lock? Okay. You want me to talk about some anti-gel stuff real quick?
Real quick, go ahead.
Okay. So the other thing I wanted to talk about was anti-gel. And obviously we've been here in Missouri. We've been sub-freezing temperatures for a while now. And I'd like to say that I think everybody's been doing pretty good about it this year. I've talked with the other reps on it. We've had substantially fewer gel ups this year than we had last year. So, I mean, if you want, give yourselves a round of applause for that, no. I'll say I haven't had any come up on my breakdown list. So either it's not happening or it's getting resolved fast enough to where it doesn't show up the next day. So anyway, so what you want to do in the wintertime, whenever we start getting temps about 20 to 15 degrees, that's when your fuel starts to gel up. You want to start treating your fuel. Prime's got anti-gel here on site, and you just need to follow the directions on the bottle. And I don't have a bottle with me as an example, but follow the directions on the bottle, do a treatment 20 degrees, and every increment of 20 degrees is the magic number, right? So you give one treatment at 20 degrees. If you get to 0 degrees, you want to double treat. And if you get to negative 20, you don't do a triple treatment, right? You can't really over treat the fuel. So the 4 things you want to make sure get treated are your engine, your APU, your reefer, and your bunk heater. So the bunk heater is, to my understanding, the most difficult thing to get treated because it doesn't use a lot of fuel, and it can take a few hours of running to get that anti-gel up into it. I think Trenton says it's about 4 hours of run time to potentially to get it treated up. So you want to make sure you're treating your fuel and running all those things long enough to get that treated fuel up into it. About to say after that, make sure you also have a spare set of fuel filters, because if you where you're already gelled up, the fuel filters in your truck are no good. And more than likely, wherever you're at, those people also need fuel filters. So, you know, dealerships, truck stops, they only have so many of those on hand. So make sure you have your own. And if you don't use them in the wintertime, you just use them on your next PM service, so it's no money lost. And along with that, make sure you have some diesel 911 to thaw out your tanks. And then I think the only other thing that's come up is DEF. Don't treat your DEF. There's no treatment for it that I'm aware of. And we've actually had people put anti-gel in it, and it's a bad deal. It's a few $1,000 fix. So don't be treating that. And then I guess the only other thing I'll say is try to avoid what I would like to call truck stop talk. And a lot of people who have been driving for a long time who used to drive engines that had like Caterpillars and old Cummins, had a lot of high tolerances. You used to be able to run things in them as an anti-gel or to get the truck started, and your modern engines don't run it. Don't throw gas in it. Don't throw ATF in it. Don't throw kerosene in your modern engine. It won't work. And I'm sure those people mean well, but those people aren't going to be there to bail you out on your engine repair either. So don't do it. Any questions about that?
Good morning. So I know there's a lot of confusion with the 911 diesel. I actually have my notes and I just want to get clarification. So I have for the 911 diesel, the red bottle, it says 30 degrees is when you're supposed to be utilizing the red diesel. Is that correct?
All right, so diesel 911 is there for whenever the fuel has already gelled up. It's not a replacement for anti-gel, so it's two different products. So anti-gel is what you want to do when you start getting into freezing temperatures. Diesel 911 is what you want to use to thaw your diesel out, and I don't really know how it works chemically, but it does work, but it doesn't work the other way around. They're not replacements for each other.
I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah.
So the second question is, are you putting that in when you're getting fuel or after? Because it seems to still be confusing.
So when it comes to the anti-gel, honestly, I don't really think it matters. I know more people could tend to put your treatment in the tank first and then fill it, because when you put your treatment in first, the fuel coming in is going to mix in with it better than if you put it in on the top. So I don't think it really matters in the grand scheme of things, but that'd probably be best practice is to dump it in first. Any other questions?
Well, hold on. We got a question. We got one more question. Come on up here.
Yeah,
I want you to meet Dennis over here by that pillar. We are right up against time, and he'll get you taken care of. So I appreciate you being up here, Dennis.
Thank you, Dennis. Good information.
All right. Hey, we got a couple more speakers, and we're right up against time. So I want to make sure I don't forget to do this for next week is a big week, 17. I think Darrel and Robert are going to give away a ton of money from what I hear. Really looking forward to that. So make sure you're either present or tuned in. Hopefully you're one of the winners. And two, if you like my old friend, Mr. Ford over here, and you got some tech issues, we got the tech experts right here. This is Richard. This is Brienne. They can get you taken care of. And like Donna said, we're in the days of mobile technology. If you have a problem with that tablet, take it out of the thing and bring it on in here. Let's look at it together. So, all right. I'm going to ask Jed Kramer to come on up. He's a fleet manager in our refrigerator department. We always love to get these fleet managers up here. Let them talk about, whatever they want to talk about. The relationship between the driver and the fleet manager is the most important relationship here at Prime. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Dennis. Hands down, most important relationship. Thank you so much, guys. Dennis, you worked overnight? Oh, okay. I don't know what that's like. Anyhow, I want to thank each and every one of y'all for being here. And I know Robert and Steve would say this, and I'm going to go ahead and say it now. You guys are the heart of this company. Like, I really, really look at all of you, and I'm so thankful. Whether you're my direct business partner or not, your success is my success, is Dennis's success, and so forth. Everybody in this building wants you to succeed. But we do two things here. We service and safety. Safety is our highest calling, and service is what we sell. But the most vital thing out of all of that, communication. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I can't help what I don't know needs help. And that includes every aspect of your lives. So when you're out there, like you've heard somebody say, you're the captain of the ship. So that means you are there, boots on the ground. I'm at a desk. I may be your business partner and pretty much sitting next to you, but I don't know your comfort level. I was talking with a gentleman earlier. He's from Louisiana. I'm from Louisiana originally. I had never driven in snow until I moved to Missouri. It takes time. Don't push yourself. And if you have to shut down or you decide to shut down, you just let your fleet manager know what's going on. Send them a quick message to dispatch. And also, it can happen at any time, guys. Y'all saw a lot of videos on winter, 6 months into being a fleet manager on a June 18th, 9 a.m. in the morning, sunny day between I-70, between St. Louis and Kansas City. I had a driver decided he needed to use the bathroom, but could not wait for an exit. He pulled over the shoulder, misjudged the grass, rolled the truck. It can happen at any time. Your judgment, this is your lives. And whenever I deal with each and every last one of you, whether you're my direct business partner or not, I know that I'm not just dealing with you. I'm dealing with your family, your loved ones, your kids. And I keep that into consideration because at the end of the day, I want you to be able to go home to them when you have home time. Again, thank you so much for your dedication and your hard work. And I really appreciate it. And I know all the other FMs do as well. You guys have a wonderful afternoon and stay blessed. Thanks, Dennis.
All right. Let's give him a round of applause. Jed, that's probably one of the most passionate, addresses that we've heard from a fleet manager in a number of weeks. So definitely thank you. And especially thank you for what you guys do. We had a really good meeting today. We had some folks invoke that captain of the ship and, get a little bit of a late start. That gave Dave and us a little bit more of an opportunity to talk some more safety, which is always beneficial. We always want to make sure that you're safe. I know we got loads to pick up and deliver, and I know that, this isn't a hobby for you guys. You are here to make money, but I want you to consider a couple things. One, the old Don Lacey statement, no loads too hot that it won't cool off in a ditch. And I know you got bills and I know you want to make money, but I promise you, if you push it and you make a bad decision, you're going to just inflate your problem even more. And lastly, the reason that we have driver health and fitness up here every single week, and we'll continue to do that, they are giving you information that's going to help you live, help you be healthy. And no matter how hard you work or how safe you are, man, if you're, we're getting a call that you didn't make it at 57 years old in your cab, it wasn't worth it. It was not worth it. Take care of yourself, not just an annual or every other year physical. If you've got health issues, let's get them taken care of. That's me and you too, Dave. Let's make that commitment and let's live and let's retire and do the things we love to do, right?
Amen, brother.
All right. So every week we're wearing red. Dave and I've got our red on. We remember everyone deployed. So if you served our country in uniform, if you defended our freedom that we rely on and so appreciative of, please stand for just a second and give us an opportunity to honor you. Thank you guys so much. And, Steve Lucky and Robert are out working today. So I'm going to ask, I guess the next best thing, Darrel, to come on up.
What an introduction.
Hey, I got to get it in where I can. So, hey, good morning, Darrel. How you doing?
I guess I'm at the bottom of the list, but the meeting's gone long. I want to say one quick thing, really, and that is, obviously it's winter. I mean, you see the snow here. If you're in Pittston, you see the snow, and if Salt Lake doesn't have it, Jonathan said it, they'll get it tomorrow. We're in winter, and you saw the videos. People having accidents in these conditions. But here's what's tragic. We had multiple rollovers last week. Multiple. And guess what? Not one of them was related to the weather. You know what half of them were related to? Fatigue. Drivers falling asleep. Do not drive if you're tired. Colby talked about sleep and how important it is. Now think about this. You're tired and the weather's bad outside. We're going to have accidents, people, and we don't want you hurt. When we say it, we mean it with every fiber of our being. We want you to be safe. We want you to be healthy. We want you to live a long life and enjoy your life. So please, if you're tired, don't get behind the wheel. Tell your dispatcher, do what you need to do. We'll figure it out. But nothing is more important than your safety. We say it and we mean it. So I just wanted to get that out there because it is truly, truly important. So listen, we are getting into some bad weather. At the same time, we're seeing some good signs on freight and some other good things happening. So we're excited about 25. We think it's going to be a great year. We think it's going to be a upward great climb throughout the year. So we're excited about what's coming. We're thrilled you're part of this team. I want you all to be safe. God bless you and be, careful out there. Have a great day.
Thank you.